Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is Friday, the June 7th, and today's episode is going to cover more tokenomics talk. I'm going to do a 5-minute explainer instead of a 50-minute explainer. I'm also going to talk about the team's response to the tokenomics explainers. Also, there's a handshake between Rocket Pool and Heroglyphs. Let's talk about what's happened there. And we're going to be spending a bit of time talking about the Pectra hard fork for Ethereum and what that's going to include and what it's going to mean for Rocket Pool. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Right, so we're going to actually start with the Pectra hard fork because we talked about the tokenomics way too much yesterday. So let's start with something else today. So Pectra is going to be the next hard fork for Ethereum. For those of you who don't know, Pectra stands for Prague and Electra. Prague is the city with where the Ethereum conference happened, and Electra is an E-star. So the consensus and execution layers, those names come together and it becomes Pectra. So people might not like the naming, portmanteaus, but there you go. Like that's what we've stuck with, and it's Pectra now. So now what's Pectra, right? So Pectra is going to have a whole bunch of stuff in it. People have been debating what's going to be in Pectra for the last few months since the Dencun hard fork, and now there's been a lot of discussion. Things being included for consideration, things being removed for consideration, and it looks like the final list. Well, our list has come together. And Christine Kim's here says the ETH devs are trying to do it all. So what's going to go into Pectra? The EOF is in. So don't worry if you don't understand what these things are. I'm going to be talking about that next and explaining what each one does. EOF is in. EIP 7702 is in, which is a replacement for 3074. PeerDAS is in. Max EB with execution layer triggerable consolidations is in. BLS is in. EIP 7549 attestation refactoring is in, and they're also trying to do history expiry. So this was this was a big amount of EIPs. It might not sound like a lot, but let's talk about it. So people are actually referring to this now as a mega fork instead of just a regular hard fork. And ism.eth says if everything goes well and nothing is removed, this will be one of the most impactful hard forks for Ethereum ever. So with the EOF, it says smart contract devs, no more stack too deep, no more spurious design. With EVM compilers, a lot easier optimization paths, users gas reductions, L2s, easier gas cost changes, EVM performance, easier GIT compilation. With PeerDAS, lots of blobs, it will increase data availability dramatically, a lot of headroom for layer 2s. EIP 7702, smart contract wallets, great user experience improvements. Max EB, no more 32 ETH limit. Big stakers consolidate into a single validator up to 1024. I've seen the number 2048 around as well, so I'm not sure which one of those it will be, but I thought it was 2048, but maybe it's 124 now. But consensus network performance will improve because of this. And EIP 7549. And then this also improves consensus network performance. So it looks like there's a whole lot going into this, and it's looking really, really good. So I'm super excited about this. Forced exits is not mentioned in here, as far as I can tell. Let me see. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I said it and I missed it. But let's have a look at this. So Christine Kim then gives a summary of it as well. So she says Pectra is shaping up to be a big upgrade, possibly the largest in Ethereum's history. So let's review all the core changes that are going into Pectra so far, and what is still to be determined. So these are the EIPs that are confirmed. So we get 2537, 2935, 7685, EOF, and 7702. And the ones that are still EIPs confirmed for Electra. So this is 6110, 7002. So 7002 is the forced exits one. That's the one that's like very, very impactful for Rocket Pool. Then 7251, 7549, and PeerDAS. And then there's we'll get to it. Let's actually go through the execution layer ones. So we have 2537, and description says adds operation on BLS. Let me actually just make this a bit bigger. Yeah, adds operation on BLS 12381 curve as a precompile, and you can read more about that. 2935 store and serve last 8,192 block hashes as storage slots. And then we have 7685, a general purpose bus for sharing execution layer triggered requests with the consensus layer. EOF is a bundle of 10 EIPs, changing how EVM bytecode is processed and executed on Ethereum. And the impact of this is a big one that people are really excited for. It says improvement to the dApp developer experience as EVM smart contract code execution would become more efficient, logically sound, consistent, and easily upgradable. And then 7702 adds a new transaction type that sets the code for an EOA during one transaction execution. And this is a user experience improvement that people are really happy about. It says improved user experience from supporting transaction batching, sponsoring transactions, conditional transactions, delegated security, and overall more flexibility for controlling the EOAs. So this is looking great. And then let's have a look at the consensus layer hard fork, the EIPs. So we have 6110, and this provides validated deposits as a list of deposit operations added to the execution layer block. 7002 allows validators to trigger exits and partial withdrawals by the execution layer withdrawal credentials. So this, withdrawal credentials in Rocket Pool belongs to the protocol, and what would happen there is the protocol would be able to kick out validators who are stealing MEV or who were idle for too long a time, some required agreed upon time, or there were performance, I don't know, like we can then have a lot more control over the health of the Rocket Pool network, which is really great. And then with the 7251, this is allow validators to have larger effective balances while maintaining the 32 ETH lower bound, and this reduces the growth of the validator set size and thereby improves the security and health of the network. This is actually going to be interesting to see how this works out with Rocket Pool, because it could potentially impact mega pool design. And then we have a 7549, and this moves committee index outside of the signed attestation message. So these are some of the ones that are going in. And here as well, Christine mentions that PeerDAS is not included in the chart because technically it doesn't require a hard fork. If it does end up being ready, they'll also change the blob count, and that will have to be new EIP. And then Christine goes on to say, alongside EIPs confirmed for Pectra, devs are also working on a few parallel initiatives like PeerDAS, history expiry, light client improvement. Depending on how these go, we could see new EIPs included in Pectra later, like EIP 7691 and 7639. And then Christine goes on to say, while the all-core devs call today more or less tried to finalize the scope of Prague, consensus layer developers did not reach consensus on the last all-core devs call for consensus layer about the finalized scope for Electra. There's still two major code changes devs are weighing and may discuss on next week's call. And then Christine goes on to say, finally, it's important to know that devs are staging the implementation of Pectra EIPs, meaning if EOF or 7702 or PeerDAS don't make it into a DevNet over the coming months, devs may drop it entirely from the upgrade and split Pectra out into two hard forks. And then we'd get one earlier and one later potentially. I'm not sure about the dating yet. I've seen some ideas that's saying one might come at the end of this year with another one towards the middle of next year. I don't know how ambitious that is or isn't. It looks like if there's one mega fork, it would probably be happening sometime next summer. So yeah, Christine goes on to talk about more stuff there, but this is amazing. This is the ultimate wish list of Ethereum upgrade aficionados, because these are a lot of things that people have been waiting for. They've been wanting, on Ethereum, and the idea was that you can't just punt it down to the next hard fork now, because that is going to be a Vertical Trees update, and that's going to be the F-Star update and Osaka, and that was kind of like the merge. With the merge was just the merge upgrade. There was nothing else with that hard fork. It's going to be like that. I think Vertical Trees is going to be a big enough topic that it's just going to be a singular fork on its own. So they're trying to get as much they can into Pectra before we get Osaka and F star. So this is really cool. And a lot of people are really excited. And one of the people who are excited is Emmanuel here, who says EIP 7792 and EOF are probably the two biggest user experience improvements coming to Ethereum right now. For example, 7702 adds programmability to EOAs, that's just like a regular wallet, for better integrations with ERC 4337, like this post describes. And then there's a post. He says EOF unlocks a ton of features and quality of life improvements that benefit developers. Developers are still building on layer 1. And here's a great high-level overview from Logarithmic Rex to understand what EOF brings to the table. And then there's a post, a super interesting quote from the page says, the big picture, EOF is one of those technical upgrades that are important in transforming the EVM into a mature computing platform and Ethereum into a mature protocol. A large step forward as the world computer comes online. And then Emmanuel goes on to say, now we just need to make sure client teams are ready by DevNet 4. So EOF isn't removed. If you are a developer and EOF means the world to you, now is the time to speak up and signal interest in the upgrade. Oh, and show your core developers some love. Next time you see them, not all heroes wear capes. So this is wonderful, like really, really great. It's really exciting. And of course, the impact on Rocket Pool is real, especially through the MaxCB and the forced exits EIPs. The forced exit one, unlock Saturn 2, which would totally let Rocket Pool's growth go stratospheric by allowing 1.5 ETH validators. And of course, the forced exits that will help that happen. And then the MaxCB is going to bring up some interesting design discussions and points. So that's going to be one to watch as well. So this is really big news. This is amazing news. This is wonderful news. And Ethereum is just going strength to strength. And I am so here for it. So yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so yesterday I talked, moving on to Rocket Pool news now. Yesterday I talked about the new tokenomics proposals that have come out of the Rocket Pool community, and I talked through the explainer series, and it took me 50 minutes to go through the whole thing. Well, I've been set a challenge today to do the whole thing in 5 minutes, just to give a high level understanding to people, just skim it basically. So let's get started now, and I'm going to see if I can do it within 5 minutes. So ready, set, go. We start with, why rework the tokenomics, right? So the idea is that the tokenomics started back in the ICO where RPL and ETH stake were linked together. This was reinforced over time with Zero's Rocket Pool investment thesis. And then FireEyes went ahead and put it in the protocol design with when the tokenomics were announced for the actual staking and the protocol going live. Now, in the beginning, people thought this was amazing. It was really great. It was going to lead to really cool things. However, over time, sadly, that's not materialized. But we're going to talk about that next. So why was the tokenomics set up like this? Well, there were 3 ideals that people expected to happen that would bring value to Rocket Pool and to RPL. The first one was that the RPL stake serves as an entry ticket into boosted Ethereum rewards. The second one was that the RPL rewards would be good enough that people would top up every month. And the third one would be that because people topped up their their collateral every month, then it would act as a kind of floor to the RPL value as 10% of TVL of rETH, or the total market cap of rETH. Now, what were the issues with this? Why didn't this happen in reality? Well, the fact is that with number one, the price fluctuations of RPL have much more of an impact on your staking rewards overall than the ETH rewards boost that you get. With number 2, we just saw that people aren't topping up their validators. With the recent period a couple of days ago, 70% of validators were under collateralized. They just didn't top up. And with number 3, what's happening is because people are under the 10% barrier, that floor idea that we had of RPL being 10% of the rETH TVL, it's just not happening. Now, also the consequence then of this is that people are actually shutting down their validators to get back to collateral instead of adding more RPL to their node. And this is actually reducing the amount of rETH that's coming online. It's literally shrinking the protocol. Now, RPL the way the bonding is set up at the moment is becoming a bigger and bigger part of a person's portfolio if they want to stake with Rocket Pool, and people just don't want to do that. So this system is brittle, it's not working the way it is, and basically since the Atlas hard fork, when we had a huge period of growth stagnated and it started to shrink. Okay, moving on to the introduction of the tokenomics. Now, what is happening here? Now it'll be the main thing is it'll be possible now to run a Rocket Pool validator without having RPL. However, there's stuff being added to make holding RPL really attractive, and it might act as a standalone investment even for you. So what it's going to do is it's going to actually also going to change the commission structure as well. So the node operator won't be getting all of the 14% commission that rETH holders are charged at the moment. They're going to be getting a smaller percentage of that, around 3.5%. However, with smaller bonds, they'll actually be outperforming the validators they have now by a significant amount. So with 8 ETH validator, you'd get a 10.5% boost compared to solo staking. With a 4 ETH validator, you'll get a 25% boost. And with a 1.5 ETH validator, you'll get a 70% boost on solo staking validating. So this system is actually going to be much better for capital efficiency because you're getting commission from a whole bunch of different places instead of just, you're getting commission from a whole more ETH instead of just a smaller pie. Okay, so how does this all work? Well, the ETH rewards are going to be divided out amongst the protocol in 3 ways instead of the way it is right now. So right now you have commission 14% from rETH and RPL inflation. The RPL inflation is going to go away from 5% down to 1.5%, but it won't go to node operators. So where the node operator is going to get their money from? Well, that 14%, because it's going to be coming from a much bigger pool of rETH than it is now, because LEB4s and 1.5s will be lifting much more ETH than they do now, much more rETH than they do now. That is going to bring in much more ETH to the protocol. So we'll actually be able to give 3.5% of that to node operators. Another share of that, about 5%, will go to people who stake RPL and ETH together. And then there'll be a surplus amount, about 5.5%, that we're going to use to give value to the RPL token. Now, how's that going to work? Well, if you're a node operator, you'll only need ETH. And if you're going to basically get supersized rewards based on that. So the more ETH only validators there are, what's going to happen is they'll actually be giving more money to the RPL validators. So they're going to get RPL stakers, so they're going to get even more income, which is really awesome to see. So there's some really nice dynamics at play here. But with lower bonds, what happens? So this is Saturn 1 with LEB4s that we'll have. You'll be getting 25% more than solo staking on its own, and that is without any RPL requirement. So that's going to be really cool. With Saturn 2, this is with mega pools and forced exits that we're waiting for. We can start the LEB 1.5s, and that's where that 3.5% reward will actually act as 70% boosted rewards for then solo staker. So it's really cool. We're actually going to bring something called universal adjustable revenue split. So we're going to have some dials in place that will let us move those variables depending on what the protocol needs. So if the protocol needs more node operators, we can slide the dial to bring in more node operators and give them more money, basically. If the protocol is like struggling with governance because there aren't enough RPL people voting, then we can give the voters a higher share to bring more RPL stake online. And with the surplus, we can see if there's not enough people minting rETH, we can reduce the surplus amount and give that instead to rETH holders, so they'll get a lower commission. So there'll be more of that coming online. So there's some really interesting stuff happening there as well. And with RPL value capture, that 5.5% initially where it's starting, we're still figuring out where that's going to go, whether that's going to be used to buy RPL and burn it, whether it's going to be used to buy RPL and provide liquidity with it, or whether we'll just give it all to the staking share. Now, on top of that, we have supporting components. These are some of the things that will happen or that we need. So this will have anti-sock puppet effects. Mega pools will allow sublinear bonding. Forced exits will allow us to kick off bad node operators, whether they're stealing MEV or just inactive for a really long time. Node level penalties will actually let us punish people at the node level, which means that it will allow sublinear bonding and allow those 1.5 ETH validators, because we can punish them at the node level instead. Forced upgrades will mean that people who are staking Rocket Pool will have to update their delegate, and then Express Queue is just a way of making sure that smaller node operators will be able to keep their staking time up to date as much as possible. Okay, so that was a little bit more than 5 minutes, but I think I covered the big highlights there. I'm sure I missed stuff, but if you want the full details, go back to yesterday's episode, which was June 6th episode, for a full 50-minute explainer. But yeah, I think that was decent. So one great thing that happened overnight was we got some feedback from Langers, because the team were workshopping the new tokenomics a couple of days ago. So Langers says, hey everyone, the team ran a workshop on Saturn 1 yesterday and have some feedback, thoughts / questions. Overall, we really like the changes and don't see significant issues with implementation. We found it well thought out. I'm writing the feedback here for discussion, but please let me know if you want me to post it on the individual RPIP forum posts. So he says, Megapool and bond curves. This is max EB really wasn't a thing when this was originally written out, and our reference implementation was built. Max EB is going into Pectra, like we just talked about, unless there is a significant issue. Max EB has the potential to simplify the Megapool design considerably. The other benefit of using Max EB is that the rewards are auto-compounded, so from an rETH return perspective, it's better. The idea would be to have a Megapool per Max EB validator, which would be up to 2048 ETH. So for most node operators, it would still be one transaction to distribute rewards. But for very large node operators, it would still be low numbers of transactions to distribute rewards. From a node penalty perspective, each megapool will still be large pool and may be able to use penalties across megapools in the new design. We'll have to confirm. Obviously, in that case, we'll be reliant on Pectra for delivery. Then Langers goes on to say, in the spec, RPL staked on the node is intentionally separated from RPL staked on the megapool. Why is this separation intent needed? That's the actual spec, so you have to go and read that. It says we're overall positive about the queue changes, but it will take us a little time to break down the implications. Then with the universal adjustable, what is it? Sorry, I've forgotten the acronym. It's here, universal adjustable revenue split. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it just my mind kind of went blank there for a second. Just as we understand, the Commission Controller and Security Council seals are used to support dynamic market changes to the Commission to drive supply. It's our opinion that the PDAO should vote to change Node Operator Commission. I would argue that a small and likely temporary changes in the Commission are likely to be ineffective on driving supply. It makes more sense to us that the PDAO make incremental changes based on market trends rather than short-term supply crunches. Frequent changes in the Commission also have downstream technical and user experience issues. It makes the weighted commissions share averaging more difficult and costly. With gas, we already have issues explaining node APR to new node operators. Engaging in the PDAO is not that arduous. Engaging the PDAO is not that arduous, especially on something as easy to explain as commission. We also think that commission changes are a big deal, and the decision should be made by the PDAO, not a committee. And then they said, enable forced delegate upgrades. This RPIP makes sense based on the increase in upgrade risk. I assume that the ODAO would continue to propose upgrades, but this RPIP gives the Security Council power to either speed up the upgrade or veto it. Currently, it's not explicit in that the ODAO proposed the upgrade. I don't think we can just have the delegate revert, as I believe there could be functions that still need to be called in flight processes. I will check with Kane. I think the spec should be vague on implementation but clear on intent. And then Non-Fungible Yoakum says, regarding the forced delegate upgrade bit, I share the concern. I've prepped this into have recovery delegate as the fallback after expiry, and then there's a GitHub post. And then Val responded to Langers with MaxCB. He says, I'm not that up to date, but I think there are details still to iron out, in particular, if anything, like setting the current maximum for the validator is controlled by the validator key as opposed to withdrawal address. Our accounting might be hard or impossible. Auto-compounding is not necessarily a good thing. In a case where the deposit pool is empty, rETH would like rewards to become available liquidity, and this would then be a negative. relying on Pectra for Saturn 1 could be pretty significant delay or not. We're talking pretty significant timelines for 2 different software deliveries, so it's hard to guesstimate effectively this far out. With staked RPL, it says legacy staked RPL should not be getting voter share because legacy mini pools are not contributing commission revenue to the pool. It also needs to be subject to mini pool withdrawal rules per RPIP 30 rather than new rules for mega pool staked RPL. And then with the UARS, he says not clear what the concern here is the increased node operator share seals specifically. The main purpose of those is that we don't currently know what the market demands, and it might be far off to start. The idea is that this would allow us to rapidly find a reasonable spot where we can attract node operators. Now, PDAO voting would be at least twice as slow. See the problem? Then multi-week governance cycle to little benefit. I'll note that the RPIP specifics when seals should be used, so it's not a steering choice by the committee. I think it's nice to continue to have the seals with a low increased node operator share seal count, afterwards to unblock bottlenecks if they come up, but the startup condition is the main point in my opinion. And with upgrades, Val says yes, the ODAO would continue to propose, and that could be made explicit. And he says, agreed, we should be improved. This should be improved. Yoakum's proposal is a reasonable method, in my opinion, with additional benefits, and can also reword to colloquial should fail or something rather than technical revert. So this is wonderful that the team is getting involved in these discussions, and there's back and forth happening. And yeah, we're literally getting to the next stages of the tokenomics work now, where it looks like, you know, we're going to be ironing stuff out, working with the community as a whole, with the team, getting these ideas fleshed out, and then hopefully going to vote maybe within, you know, the next 4 to 6 weeks. That would be very, very exciting. So yeah. Okay, next we've got some other exciting news that people have been wanting to see for a while, and this is about Heroglyphs. So Heroglyphs, for those of you who don't know, is a way of boosting solo staking on the Ethereum network. And the way that this is done is by using custom graffiti on the network. And by using that graffiti, you can mint meme coins, basically. That's the idea pretty much. Now, the way that this works is, you know, there's certain conditions allowed that only allow for solo stakers to use Heroglyphs. And now Heroglyphs are saying Rocket Pool Heroes Unite. They got a TLDR saying Rocket Pool mini pools will now work with Heroglyphs, community gated Discord channels for activation and organization, purchasing a version 1 ID. It might have migrated already. Emission schedules now based on execution, and updates to previous posts regarding emissions and LP. So the way that it works is they're setting up an API that will check the mini pool contract address, and then the withdrawal address that's set up within there, and then it will allow that withdrawal address from the contract to be used. Now, I think someone in the community is working on a guide. Ken, I think, put together a guide, but people are still kind of confused about how it works. Even I'm kind of confused. So the way I think it works, and I may be wrong here, is that you have to buy an NFT with your validator ID locked into it, and that costs 0.1 ETH. Now, on top of that, you know, you have to merge those two things together. I'm not sure exactly how that happens. And then you start using graffiti, custom graffiti, basically, to mint these different coins. And I think the idea is that every time you get a proposal, you obviously put your graffiti onto the Ethereum beacon chain. And with that graffiti out there, then you get around 0.05 ETH of meme coins, I think. So the way people worked it out is like the return on this is actually like more than 100% for a year, because you're expected to get around three proposals a year now, every 4 months or so. So you'll be getting a lot of rewards for this, which is why it's exciting for people. Now, what they're saying here is Jasper pulled out some interesting quotes. So they're saying that your rocket poolers will get a share based on the size of their validator. So it says, depending on the size of your pool, you will either get half if you have a 16 ETH validator, or a quarter if you have an 8 ETH validator of the regular medals and token rewards. And then it says IDs and Genesis keys still apply the same way as a full 32 ETH validator. So the returns as a Rocket Pool user are a little bit less because you have to pay the full NFT price every time there is every validator, but then you get a share of the rewards instead of the whole rewards. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. Okay, going back to the Rocket Pool Discord now. So yesterday we had news of OKX removing stake and some validators, and it turns out that they basically took the RPL from OKX node 3 and put it onto node 1 and node 2. So Diana, when she came into the community yesterday to kind of reassure us, that was all good from Diana. So thank you so much for that reassuring. And it looks like everything is going well with that. So good stuff, 1KX. Okay, we got an update from Hi. We talked about Hi last week, I think, or earlier this week, and we talked about how they're going to onboard rETH. Well, that process has gone through and it's been successful. So Hi, they're saying, let's get Hi on rETH. The DAO proposal passed and Rocket Pool rETH has been added as collateral to Hi. If you're an rETH holder, you can now deposit into a vault and mint Hi against it with a 130% collateralization ratio and only have a 2.5% annual stability fee. So yeah, Hi is a rocket. Pretty cool. Good job. Of course, if you want to use Hi, please use it at your own risk. With DeFi projects, of course, you can lose everything you put into them. So please keep that in mind. Of course, I haven't received payment from any of these protocols that I've talked about. Okay, next we're going to be talking about Rocket Pool Deposit Pool, which we haven't talked for a while. It's actually overflowing, which is really surprising because it's been a while since it's been full, and now we are on 19,705 ETH in there. So it actually hit 18,000 yesterday, and now it is above 18,000. It's gone up to 19,700. So we were under that since April, so a good 2 full months we were under 18,000, and now we've gone back to being overflowing. So sadly there's no premium to ARB, but because it's overflowing, right, it needs to be at that 18,000 level exactly to be able to ARB it. But that's pretty cool, I guess. So yeah, if you're interested in the deposit pool dynamics, you can definitely check out the Rocket Scan website, and that's got a lot of information on there. So we got an update from gETH yesterday with Peter Silledy saying don't panic. Well, the hotfix is out now. So this is Bothros version 1.14.5. This was just about some IP stuff. So I don't know how big a deal it is if you're not seeing any problems on your gETH node. I'm not sure, but I think maybe you should just switch away from gETH. Maybe. Yeah, no, it's all good. But you can update it now. So if you're having any issues, this should hopefully help. Okay, we got an update from the GMC today. So grants round 13 is actually finishing today on Friday, June 7th at midnight. So make sure that you get your applications in if you are waiting. We've actually had a really quiet month this month for the GMC. It looks like we've had 2 retroactive applications, and we've had 4 grant applications and no bounties. So if you're interested in that as well, you can go and have a look at those and see if any of those submissions seem interesting to you. Of course, as always, in the discussion of the community discussion of submitted applications, GMC loves to hear your feedback. So please keep providing that. Okay, what is this supposed to be? Let me see. Oh, it's supposed to be Lido outflows here. So Lido actually just had giant outflows of 40,000 ETH. So ST ETH. So that sounds really good. So we want Lido, of course, to get smaller because they're too big an entity on the network. So 40,000 sounds like a lot, but sadly it's not showing up in dominance. Like we talked about Lido dominance a few weeks ago, and it looked like it was in the 27%, I think. I don't really remember the exact number, but as of today it was nearly 29%, and it's kind of been hovering at that 28.95-ish level for the last few days, just under 29%. So hopefully we'll get some more withdrawals coming out from Lido soon, and there won't be as much of an issue going forward. And finally, we're going to finish today's episode with this L2B website, and it's showing, actually, let me just try to get this right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's showing that the total value locked on all Ethereum layer 2s is now $48 billion, which is an all-time high. And that's absolutely amazing. So this, of course, is partly because of ETH price going up. It's also, of course, because of just there being more activity on layer 2s, which is absolutely awesome to see. And one of the things that happened is if you have a look at value locked, Base has now flipped OP mainnet by a good $400 million, and it's now the second biggest L2 on Ethereum, which is pretty cool to see. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead, and yeah, it's been a really big week for Rocket Pool, so I'm really happy that I've been able to share it with you all, and let's hope that we've got some more big weeks coming up ahead. So thanks everyone. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.